Hello, everyone. Welcome to Awakened Soul podcast. Tonight's topic is this is our Christ Talk portion of Awakened Soul. And tonight, whenever you're watching, right now we're in the morning since this is live.
Yes.
We're talking about Mary Magdalene, the beautiful energy and personality of Mary Magdalene, so misunderstood, the enigma of Mary Magdalene. And I am your co host, Sharon Sanani Kumara. I am the author of Awakened Soul, hence the name of the channel, my near death journey home through Christ's infinite love. And this is how he looked to me very close when Yeshua met me in my near death experience. I do have a chapter on Mary Magdalene in here from my perspective. So you can find this on Amazon and audio on Google Play Books. And I'm very happy to say hello to my co-host, Christina. Hi, Christina.
Hello. Welcome to Christ Talk, everyone. And hello, Leah. We already have some people in the audience. Before we get started, I just want to remind you that Sharon and I are talking about Mary Magdalene, but we invite you to join in the conversation as well. So we invite your comments, your questions, and this is much more better if it's a conversation between all of us, those who are listening and those who are tuning in live, as well as just Sharon and I. So good morning to those in the audience. Hi, Leah. Thank you for joining us. Glad you found us.
Yes. Welcome, everyone. And I'm wearing red in honor of Mary Magdalene and my Mary Magdalene pendant, which I cherish because those of us that are in love with Christ, in love with, well, we're all Christed somewhere, in love with Yeshua, can maybe relate to Mary Magdalene because I do feel that her role in Yeshua's life has been totally dismissed. And I've heard some teachings I was raised Catholic, not a good Catholic, as I've shared here before. There was a scuttlebutt or information within the Catholic realm that Mary Magdalene was a prostitute, that it says in the Bible. It does not say in the Bible that Mary Magdalene was a prostitute. Just FYI, the prostitute that has been depicted in the Bible was, I believe, named Mary, but it was not the same Mary Magdalene. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And from what I remember, because I do have memory of seeing through Mary Magdalene's eyes in when she walked with Christ, with Yeshua, she's the one who understood the teachings the most out of all of his followers, yes, especially his apostles.
Yes. In the Chosen, in the show on Amazon, he says that she's listening. She's the one who listened the most. So, yeah, I do want to, say that Mary Magdalene, she is around me all the time. I have channeled Mary Magdalene. But the truth is, coming into the show, I realized that I know very little about her. And even, Sharon, I've been wanting to ask you because even before we started recording, you had mentioned you were wearing red. And I don't even know what the significance of red and Mary Magdalene is. So let's start there.
Well, I don't know if I can articulate it either. If someone knows in the audience, please let me know, because I believe that she wore a red. She was known to wear a red scarf.
Yeah. I do see her in red when I see her.
Yes.
When she's around me. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have to think about it. You should have asked me before. Okay. Yeah. I would have had a time to at least get information. But, it'll come.
It'll come. Maybe someone will share in the comments. So yeah.
Right.
But I think that maybe that's a good starting point, is why don't we know that much about her?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, and my take is that because the fundamental Christian world did not want anyone to know that he had a beloved, perhaps. I do believe that she was his beloved, and and that a woman understood the teachings more than maybe man.
Mhm.
Yeah, and also from my perspective, from my memories, again, I write about in the book, is that she was his beloved, and they did have a um, husband wife type of relationship. But that's
Mhm.
getting ahead of ourselves here, because I feel like, and I mean, it's kind of obvious once you start studying about her and bringing her into your energy field. And that was one of the first things that Christ, Yeshua, helped told me, is that she has been so maligned over the centuries.
Mhm.
Uh, and that, and what he meant was that, or how I understood him, was that because she's been called the prostitute. And there is something in the Bible where it says Jesus cast 7 demons from her.
Yes.
And yeah, and I believe that that is the, mm, what we might call the 7 deadly sins, which are, uh, our what we bring forward. And this is the kind of work that we do, Christina now, is bringing through past life stuff that we have not healed. So if we have anger that we haven't healed before, if we have any guilt that we haven't healed before, grief that we haven't healed before, can be looked at as deadly sins and keeps us heavy, keeps us down. So I believe that's what the Bible is talking about, is that he was cleared her chakras. Perhaps we have 7, and
Yeah.
we hold all these energies within our 7 main chakras. We
Mhm.
hold these energies that keep us from being clear channels. And so I mean, he basically did the same thing for me, only it's just looked at differently. And
Yeah.
and he does it for all of us. He helps us in, well, Leah knows, in the Way of Mastery study group.
Yeah. Yeah, I was also going to say that during that time, and I love that Leah's here today because I started reading this book because of Leah, which is Dolores Cannon. They walked with
The walk with
Jesus,
Jesus.
or
Mhm.
yeah, and she was doing a past life regression session with a woman who was a woman at the time that Jesus walked the planet, but she couldn't, and she had been taught by the Essenes. So she actually didn't know Jesus yet, but she knew things. And she couldn't teach these things because she was a woman. So her place, they put her with the kids because that was where, her role fit was with the children.
Mhm.
And, she wanted to, in her past life, she wanted to teach more. She wanted to impact more people. But also she was happy to be working with the kids, but she was learning from the Essenes as well. But because of that time, because of how women were viewed, she was put into a specific box, into a specific role.
Yes, yes. And I also want to share that Christina has a little noise behind her, but
Yeah.
hopefully you will be forgiving because it is her son putting Legos together.
He's building Legos that he got yesterday for his birthday.
Nice, nice, nice. Happy birthday, Liam. Yeah. Yes. So, I mean, that's that's so true, and that was perpetuated century after century within the fundamental Christian community,
Mhm.
is that the roles of women were totally dismissed in, I believe, in the Bible. Her role was dismissed, and in the Gospel of Thomas and the Gospel of Luke, I believe it is, they talk about how close Mary Magdalene was to Christ, and that it was obvious that she was his beloved. And she has a gospel too. And get this, I have her gospel. The first 6 pages were torn out.
Really.
Hmm. Yeah. When they were discovered, they removed the first 6 pages, I believe it was, and parts of other pages. And it's not a very long gospel.
Mm.
Um, Parts of other pages in the gospel, but she talks about jealousy of the apostles, uh, uh, of his followers and the apostles, uh, and she even she even writes down she I mean excuse me, book of, or whatever chapter, what are these called, the gospels, I believe, are just journals, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what they are.
Yes.
We call them journals today, but they're called gospels in archaic language. But what she's doing is journaling her time with Christ, her time with Yeshua, and what he is helping her understand, and she's understanding. And he's always told me that she's a teacher for him.
Yes.
She and was in that time, because we were communicating our within that time, that she was also a teacher for him, but she wasn't allowed to show that
Yeah.
to the because of the times.
Right.
Yeah. And
I
so what
just,
you're
I
talking about
love
is
that.
really
Like,
important.
I just want to highlight, that, Jesus, Yeshua, the Messiah, the Lord or whatever, right? Like, even he had teachers and admits that he has
Mhm.
teachers because we're all each other's teachers. And so I just needed to pause there because, like, I just felt another, love for him. I just
Love bomb.
fell deeper in love with him.
A love bomb. I know, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know. When I first heard about when he was showing me where he turned over the tables in the temples, and that had that moment of anger or whatever it is, I'm like, oh, I don't think I've ever seen him so sexy. Okay. he, he was human. He was real. He was human.
Right. Yes.
You know,
Authentic. Yes. Yes.
authentic. Yes,
Yes.
totally.
Yeah. I love that story because as much as I strive to be, aligned with love 100% of the time, there are just times where I'm not. And so knowing that story about him makes me, be more accepting of my humanity
Yes.
for sure.
And he's
Yeah.
definitely accepting of our humanity. He's been here, he's done that. He knows. He
Yes.
knows. Yeah, totally. And we've talked about this before. I just want to bring it up real quick on the Hawkins scale of emotional frequency. At the bottom of the scale is shame, guilt, and that's where depression comes in. And there's no movement with, I mean, that's the result. And there's no movement with depression. And then
Yeah.
you move up, and anger is higher. I'm not sure where that is, but anger is higher
Yes.
than all of these, because which is kind of confusing, because we're kind of being, especially women, or well, I don't mean to be sexist or anything. Women are taught not to be angry,
Yeah.
at least in my world. So we're taught anger isn't good.
Right.
That's unbecoming of a woman. Don't be angry. Don't
Yeah.
be such a biatch. That kind of thing.
Right.
Uh, but it's movement. It's higher in the frequency, on the frequency scale, because there's movement.
Yes.
The energy is moving. Now,
Yeah.
it's not good to stay in that energy. But make it productive, right? And then move
Yes.
up.
Use that fire.
There
Yeah.
you go.
Yeah, that's what it feels like for me. It's like
Hmm.
fire. So use the fire to,
Use the fire.
to
Yeah,
create change. Yeah,
yeah. So I
absolutely.
believe that Mary Magdalene has been so maligned in the over history, is because that makes the whatever we want to call it, the patriarchy, or because we've been out of
Yeah.
balance with the masculine and feminine, uncomfortable,
Yeah.
because she was such a big part and huge part of Christ's life, Yeshua's life. And he was human, and he had teachers, and he
Yes.
was just he not just, I would never say just with him, but that he learned like us, and he tells us that all the time. These things that I do, you can do, and more. Um, and what I'm trying to say is that she mm, it wasn't good for them to depict women as on an equal level, or any of us on an equal level
Right.
with Christ. They had to put him on,
Yeah.
that he was
A
a,
pedestal.
a
The Lord.
pedestal.
Yeah.
Yeah, and for worship and all this. And so a woman who was within that same space as him just did not bode well with
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
patriarchy. Yeah.
Now, I'm always about burning the patriarchy, and so I do feel like that has a lot to do with why we don't know that much about her. But I want to ask you because again, like I'm not versed with the Bible. I was raised Catholic, but I didn't pay attention to anything, and so like I'm not versed with the Bible, and I don't have a lot of this kind of knowledge. But what I have become aware of in the last couple of years is the Gnostic Gospels,
Hmm.
and even those about Jesus were hidden or buried or just not well talked about. So I'm curious if you think it might be a little bit of both, if it might be the influence of the patriarchy and the fact that the Gnostic Gospels were speaking more truth and more about equality, that we're all equal, that we're all the same, and anything having to do with equality was just not something he
Exactly.
wanted to talk about.
Exactly. Yes. Yes. And so yeah, Yeshua came down to came down to help balance things out, and Mary Magdalene was the one. And I do believe that walking the planet 2,000 years ago and all the teachings that came through are for now, for the shift in the ages. Yeah. And Leah has a very interesting point here. There is a legend of Mary Magdalene traveling to Rome to preach the gospel after Christ, after his transition. She had an audience, put it on the screen, with Emperor Tiberius, and held up an egg proclaiming Christ is risen. Okay. Um, the emperor laughed and said, "A man rising from the dead was about as likely as the egg in her hand turning red." And at that moment, the egg in her hand turned red. Interesting.
Thank you, Leah.
I do have an image of Mary Magdalene holding an egg. Yeah,
Yeah. So that must be the significance of red, the
could
red,
be,
and
definitely.
Mary
Yeah,
Magdalene. Yeah.
and there could be more than one. I don't know, but yeah,
Yes.
that's interesting.
Yeah.
And I just want to mention something before we move on, that tomorrow, a little plug here, commercial time.
Yes. Yes.
When our practitioner, our beautiful Stephanie Stephan, she is teaching or presenting a class, facilitating a class on Mary Magdalene. It's only 2 hours tomorrow, 4 p.m. Pacific time. Be there or be square. And if you want to learn more about Mary Magdalene, she has traveled all over France, where Mary Magdalene was thought to go to after Christ rose, and preached his teachings.
Yeah.
So she's going to share a lot of information about Mary Magdalene that she knows and has learned. Also, if you are an Academy member, you get a big discount off of the class.
Yes. Yes.
That's at kumaraacademy.com.
Yes.
Tomorrow, Saturday,
And
on
Stephanie
8 8
knows,
8 8.
yes, Lionsgate portal.
Mm-hmm.
And Stephanie knows a lot about Mary Magdalene, and I'm excited to attend the class as well, or the event, or the workshop, whatever we want to call it. But yeah, I'm really excited. And just in prepping for, on the Kumar Academy, I've already learned so much about her from Stephanie's writings that I've used to, put it up on the page or send out an email about it. So yeah, I have a feeling it's going to be really juicy for anyone who's interested or has been interested in Mary Magdalene.
Definitely.
Hmm.
And when you think about who she was the last one that stayed at the cross after he was crucified.
Mhm.
When she went to the tomb, she was the one he appeared to after he rose.
Yes.
Yeah. Um, what else? And she was the first evangelist after he rose. She was the first one to spread his word, spread the gospel, well, of his teachings. And I shouldn't say his, because he would never call them his teachings.
Right.
These are the truth. She was the
Yes.
first one to spread the truth about
Yeah.
who and what we are. And she actually calls God the good. That's in her gospel, in
Yeah.
her journals. She calls God the good.
The good. I like it. Where do we find her journals? Where do we find the gospel?
Oh, you can find it. I think I got it on Amazon.
Google it.
The
Yeah.
Gospel of Mary Magdalene. Yeah, I
Hmm.
don't remember where I got it. I should pull it out. But
Yeah.
yeah, and the Gospel of Thomas, the Gnostic Gospels um, that weren't included in the Bible are enlightening,
Yes.
to
Yeah.
say the least. Yeah.
And you mentioned earlier that the first 6 pages were gone or
Yes.
taken away. Are those anywhere to be found now?
No.
No, they're just gone and lost forever.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, as far as we know, they haven't showed up
Right.
yet that I know of. Yeah, if anyone out there knows they've showed up, I'm sure they were destroyed.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is, pretty sad. But anyway, we're learning from all different types of ways about her and her role when
Yes.
she walked the planet. Um, yeah, the Gnostic Gospels are the Gospel of Mary, Gospel of Philip, and Sophia, and also Gospel of Thomas. There's a lot of them. And in my memories, I do uh, see them. I was in seeing him through, and I didn't ask for this. I didn't know
Uh-huh.
anything about Mary Magdalene, you
Yeah.
know. And in my meditations, and I do share it in my book, in my meditations, I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden, there he is. I mean, we're in a scene, in a forest scene. He's felling a tree, and we have lunch, and we sit down on a log, and he reaches over and he kisses me on the mouth like a romantic in a romantic way.
Hmm.
And I know this is gonna rub some people the wrong way, maybe, but I'm like, whoa, and I pull myself out of the deep meditation.
Hmm.
Like, just relax and go with it. Just relax.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that continued. And I was brought into through the eyes of Mary Magdalene, seeing him that way, where we walked through the market and things like that, and people would be all over him because at this time he was already
Hmm.
known as a healer,
Yeah.
and um, speaking the truth. And that I saw him with children a lot. Children, I do feel
Yes.
that we had children, and I also was remembering that there were children around that didn't have a family
Hmm.
that we would take in, that type of thing.
Yeah.
So there was a different perspective than what was shown about, through the Bible and through fundamental Christianity.
Yeah.
Yeah. And a lot of people are remembering when I started remembering that,
Hmm.
I didn't tell anyone. Oh, there's this thought that I'm the reincarnation of Mary Magdalene. No, no, that's not what it is. We all have the ability to tap into that
Yes.
once we move into that space. I do believe that it's a Christ line. I'm not saying that it doesn't include everyone, but once you open up the Christ part of ourselves, we can tap into any of that energy, right?
Yeah.
Any of that. And he was helping me tap into it,
Yeah.
and to remember that part of who we are, especially the feminine. She's the divine I believe she was in that life the
Hmm.
divine feminine. He was the embodiment of the divine feminine. And he was the embodiment of the divine masculine.
Hmm.
And so we
Yeah.
can tap into that anytime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's interesting that, because I've seen several podcast interviews of different women remembering a past life as Mary Magdalene. And so the way you just described that cleared it up for me. I mean, I have a different understanding about past lives. Like, we've all had, these experiences, everything's happening at once, right? We're all one. But when you said that, like, once you open yourself to the Christ energy, that we can we can see from different perspectives, like
Mhm.
in that lineage. That, yeah, that
Yes.
makes a lot of sense.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people were thinking they were going crazy, me included, because they're seeing Mary. I'm Mary Magdalene. I'm Mary Magdalene. What do you do
Yeah.
with that? I'm
Yeah.
seeing a different relationship that's seeing totally beyond what we've been. I mean, it's a belief system crash for
Yes.
sure.
Yes.
And I'll never forget one time when before my NDE, sometimes you just, I mean, you just remember things. You don't even know how or why you remember them.
Yeah.
But and I was having a conversation with a coworker who was very Catholic, and bless her heart, I love her to death. And I said something about it, just popped out. Well, Jesus was also had intimate relationships. Had sex. It was human. No, 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 no. She goes, no, 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 no. I'm like,
Right.
well, why not?
Yeah.
For some reason, there was something within me that knew that he came here to be human and to experience the humanness of who we are.
Yes.
And if he
Yes.
falls, and when he fell in love with Mary Magdalene, I mean, which was all planned, of course, for that, why wouldn't they have an intimate relationship? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, that's a beautiful part of humanity,
Yeah.
is to be in
Yeah.
love and be intimate with each other. Why wouldn't that happen?
Right.
It makes no sense to me that it wouldn't.
No. And, he does in the way of mastery many, many times. He reminds us that we are like him, that he was here as a man, that he was human, that he was veiled, just as veiled as we are. And that is why I mean, we all come for, different experiences, but we do come here to experience humanity. So why wouldn't he? And that I know we're talking about Mary Magdalene, but this is what was for me growing up. This was one of my things that I had to unravel from my upbringing in the Catholic Church and being brought up Catholic. And was that, yeah, we put him on a pedestal.
Mm.
I to me, he was Jesus, not Yeshua, but Jesus was someone that I had to pray to. He was perfect and I was not. And I became a perfectionist, and I had to be like him, but it was something that I would never achieve when I was in that mindset, and because we made him the Lord, we made him God. And, he really was a man like we are. And he came here to achieve certain things. And he tells us, and he reminds us all the time that we can achieve that too. And what we're talking about achieving isn't like resurrecting, from the dead. It's not, that was he wanted to demonstrate that death wasn't real. But when he says we can be like him, it means we can walk aligned with love throughout our whole experience. We can choose love over and over and over again. We can bring that light to this world. And that was never my understanding as I was growing up. And I actually didn't even hear about Mary Magdalene until Jesus, Buddha, and Mary showed up in my living room, 14 years ago. And it wasn't Mary Magdalene, it was Mother Mary. But that's when I started obsessing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's liberating too, because it, it's difficult to I found that to have that relationship with Christ that we can all have, and that I have now and you have too, when he's on this big pedestal, when he's on
Yeah.
this level that are taught, well, you have to go through a priest, or you have to,
Yes.
Jesus won't talk to you the way we can, that kind of thing.
Right.
And I do believe that he is, and he tells us, well, he tells us that we are all expressions of God. He says, I and the Father are one.
Mhm.
So that's true that we are all one. So, that part of it is true, that
Yep.
he is God, that we are all an
Yes.
expression through
But
these.
so are we, right? Like we are
Exactly.
too.
We
Yes.
are too. And he even said in The Way of Mastery, and I know this is about Mary Magdalene, I want to go back to her too, but
Yep.
he even says in The Way of Mastery, he says that, they call me God. And if you're children of God, what does that make you? Stepchildren? No, they call me the son of God. That's it. They call me this. I'm
Right.
called, and I don't believe he uses the word they, but um, I'm called the son of God, the only
Mhm.
son of God. And what does that make everyone else? Stepchildren?
Right. Yes.
It's
And I could
true.
say growing up, I felt like a stepchild of
Hmm.
God.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. And that's the guilt trip and all that and everything. But guess what? We're wise to them.
Yes.
The
The truth will be revealed.
truth is
It
being
just
revealed.
it just will. Yeah.
The
It
truth is being
is
revealed. Yeah.
and it will. Yeah.
There's
Yes.
are so many books about Mary Magdalene where, and not all of them, but most of them are written by women who remember this part. So Mary Magdalene is very busy with
Yeah.
that. So, and we're dismissing her as a Christed being, because of our, how do I put it, because of our programming.
Yes.
Yeah, and my note here is also, maybe a question would be, what, oh, shoot, what about looking at her as equal to Christ, but in the feminine form,
Right.
right? Yeah,
Yeah.
and I believe that Stephanie's class is going to touch on that, on her as she traveled and brought the teachings to that part of the world,
Mhm.
because she lived in a cave for a long time.
Yes. 30 years, actually. Yes.
They do touch on that in The Chosen.
They do. And she's writing.
She's
That's where
writing
she's doing her writing. Yeah.
her
Yeah.
journaling.
Yeah. I love that we do this podcast because there's just things that open up for me, even in the midst of our conversation. So, as you were saying, like suggesting looking at her as the equal, like that never occurred to me until this moment where it was like, oh, yeah, like I see her as sacred. I feel her. Um, the first time I felt her, had an experience with her, I was in a yoga class and we were in Shavasana. And during Shavasana, we were in a sound bath. And so, I mean, I was already like, levels of relaxed in. And I just saw her. I just saw her, you know, in front of me, over me, wearing the red cloak, wearing red. And I know she came to me because there was someone else there who was really going through something that needed her presence. But when I felt her, it was like compassion, just crazy compassion. Like I've never ever felt it before.
Wow.
And that's so when I hear Mary Magdalene, I associate her with compassion. But that's also when after I overdosed and I saw Jesus in my living room, that was the same feeling.
Hmm.
It
Yeah.
was the same feeling. Love, compassion, just held like, and so I've never actually put that together until this moment because they are equal. We are all equal. We all have that. We all do.
Yes. Yes, totally. I love that. I love that experience. Thank you for sharing that. I know. I used to see her around me, but then as I began channeling her and working with her in that way, she's within me. She's
Yes.
not someone outside of me. We are one. We are
Yes.
one, which is why I felt compelled to wear red. But blah, blah, blah. I'm getting that red represents the divine feminine,
Mhm.
and it
Mhm.
is the color in the root chakra as well. And that's another thing that's been maligned is the color red.
Yes. Yes.
It's been said that red depicts prostitution, the red light, things like that.
Yeah.
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 And
I actually just picked up a copy of The Scarlet Letter
mm,
that I'm going to read. And, that's, red is bad. Red is unholy.
it's been depicted that way,
Yes.
but it's not. It's not.
Mhm. Right. And what's coming in right now, and I don't know how this relates, but I know it relates. So I'm just going to say it somehow. But even the number 666, I remember you wrote a blog post about
Mhm.
this.
Yeah.
So interesting how all the things that are sacred and feminine and represent goddess, energy is flipped.
It's flipped. Right.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah. And the 666 actually represents the goddess, the feminine, before it was flipped, like you say.
Right.
Mhm. Yeah, because I started that blog because I did an interview with someone, and she put it up on live on her channel, and I went and looked at it and to share, and I saw it was episode 666. And I'm like, oh wait. So at
Right.
first it was like, and then I remembered I actually had this memory
Mm-hmm.
that this 666 is not bad. It's not
Yeah.
what we've been programmed to believe it is. It isn't
Right.
the number of the devil, Satan, or whatever. It was, I mean, everything is energy, but it was representing the divine feminine. And it's a sacred number when it comes to universal math.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah, look at that programming because, up, I mean, I don't know, it was probably a couple of years ago, maybe a little bit longer when I started really getting into angel numbers. And for me, 666 was always showing up as growth or, creativity, but with a growth, a lot of growth. That's the only word I can come up with. But before that, it was like I'd see that number and I would get like, I would contract. I'd get
Mhm.
scared. I'd get scared because
Yeah.
they told us it was the devil, the number of the devil.
Yeah. And the controllers are not in control. They're losing control here in this system, in this realm. Don't
Yeah,
want us to heal the divine feminine. That
yeah,
and that's why we're here. And that's one of the first things that in my communications with Yeshua, I said, why did I incarnate in the United States? I want to know. I want to know why I'm here in this
yeah,
country. And the first thing I got was to assist with healing the divine feminine.
yeah. In the way of mastery, and this is in the way of knowing, and it's a little bit towards the end of the way of knowing. I don't know exactly which lesson, but somewhere in the 30s, I'm going to say. He talks about the coming together of the Shanti Cristo, which is the foundation that has published the way of mastery, and it's like two sentences, but he says, and the divine feminine is also going to come through in a powerful way that I can't even describe right now to you, but you will see.
Yeah.
And it like that hit me because even and when was the Way of Mastery published? Like the
In the
80s?
80s. In the
Yeah.
80s.
So that's, I don't know. I think the 80s is like 10 years ago. It's like
That's 40
40 years ago,
years.
right?
40 years. Yeah, totally.
So like that's, so what I want to know more, I want to know more about that, but he's giving us, bits of this is what's going to bring us into new awarenesses and new experiences. And the feminine is the healing, the nurturing. We heal through feminine energy. Men heal through feminine energy, and it's just as necessary as masculine energy. Both are required, like for wholeness, right? Like for wholeness, we
Yeah. It's all about
both.
balance. We're bringing everything into balance. That's why we're here, and that's the whole
Yeah.
idea. Definitely. Yeah, totally. It's about balance, and and respect for both, because the
Yes.
masculine has also been wounded.
Yeah.
We're here also to heal the wounded masculine as well as the wounded feminine, and
Yes.
the masculine has also been wounded with
Yes.
so with everything that and I'm not going to say that it's bad. It's not. It just is.
Mhm.
That's why we're here.
Yes.
That's why we're here, to
Yes.
bring humanity, planet Earth, into balance, because there's stuff on both sides.
Yes.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, and love, this is coming up really strong to say, and I remember from the notes that, we were going to talk about in the show was that, feminine energy is not about, it's not the opposite of masculine. It's not that masculine energy is bad. And, love embraces all things. Love is inclusive of everything. So this isn't like a competition between feminine and masculine. It's just
Mhm.
bringing it all together, loving it. Love embraces all things. It trusts all things. It heals all things. It transcends all things. Love is love sees nothing as unacceptable.
Yeah, this is true, and that's part of the teachings as well. And you know what? The architect said the same thing.
Oh, really?
Yes. What you resist persists. What you resist binds to you. So it doesn't
Yes.
mean and doesn't mean we have to condone something that
Yeah.
is that we see as out of alignment with humanity, but accepting it as what it is because it's brought to us. We have brought it to us. We brought it to us. That Ho'oponopono is all about that. We brought this into our awareness. So how are we going to deal with it? Right? Are we going to let it stick to us and resist it and fight it, that kind of thing? I have a history of a warrior, so that's the first thing I go to. Right?
Right.
Yeah, I don't
Yes. Me too.
making things right. I'm making things right. I got my
Yeah.
shield. I got my sword. And you too, Christina. I mean, I'm
Yes.
the
I
shield
think
maiden.
I think we all have that
Mhm.
because I think, I haven't really met anyone that doesn't go to that, resist, fight, like we're going
Right.
to, strong arm this, whatever first.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's how we survived.
Yes. Yes. Hmm.
Yeah. And he's teaching us that that's not the only way that we have to survive. We can
Yes.
survive through love. And it's more than surviving. It's
Living.
living, not
Mhm.
having to suffer. I don't know if that's the right word,
Yes.
because it doesn't feel good when we're out of alignment. Now I admit it feels good sometimes when you're fighting something that when you're like, kicking ass
Yes.
or something that's really, really bothering you or has
Yes.
got your hackles up, but love
Yeah.
is just feels so much better,
Yeah.
you know. Yeah.
Yeah.
It
Even
doesn't.
the just in this short segment of this conversation, as we talk about, resistance or our shields and our swords and, fighting things. And then when we talk about like love, it's like, oh, there's like it's just a relaxing energy.
It
It's just
is.
it's accepting and embracing. And so it's like that relief of letting go and allowing.
Hmm. Yeah, I love that. Can you imagine being Mary Magdalene? And a lot of us remember, um, and seeing your beloved, who is Yeshua, the Yeshua we know,
Hmm.
being arrested and crucified in front of everyone. And he even says that in the teachings. And here I am being held up on a cross and crucified in front of my friends. You know,
Yes.
how embarrassing is that? Is the
Yeah.
way he portrays it, not in
Yes.
a suffering way, but that's kind of
Yeah.
embarrassing.
Yeah. Well, and he does touch on in the Way of Mastery and in the Course of Miracles when he talks about the crucifixion. He does mention how, his experience of looking out into, the crowd of people and seeing his friends and seeing his friends that were making it real, that were experiencing that moment from the illusion standpoint, right? As
Right.
the illusion was real, and how even that he had to say, "Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do." Like even that was included. So yeah, I mean, gosh,
Well, everyone was making it real. That's what the whole
yes,
Christian persecution thing, the guilt trip is all about. Jesus died
yeah,
for our sins, and that's
yeah,
why the crucifixion is pushed more than his teachings.
yeah,
Yeah, and
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 how,
and the resurrection. Yeah.
yeah, and how much I want to say strength, but how, I don't know if that's the right word, but as you said, imagine being Mary
Yeah,
Magdalene,
back to
watching
Mary
your
Magdalene.
beloved. Yeah, watching your beloved. I know we're both bringing us back to Mary Magdalene, but like imagine being her, watching your beloved, and she supported him on his mission. She was right there. So how much like strength and truth and what did it take in her as her journey in this human form, as a spirit in human form, as Christ in human form, to be that for him. Like,
Yeah.
wow.
I He did work with me with healing that part of my soul, the Mary Magdalene that was in that space of having to be in there with him, the
Mhm.
crucifixion. He helped me heal that, and I actually have quite a few women that come to me that have that piece of them that is still holding on to that trauma.
Yeah,
And I interviewed a woman once who had that memory as well, and she needed to heal it. I mean, she sobbed and sobbed and sobbed when she was taken to that moment when he was, I believe it was when he was laid in the tomb, and the grief was overwhelming for that
yeah,
part of Mary Magdalene, because I believe we're all a part of her, and just like we're all part of Christ, so, and
yes,
Yeshua, we're all one. So it's not like we're not separate. And once we accept that,
yeah,
it's a lot easier.
yes,
Life is a lot easier. Just
yes,
accept it, you know?
yeah,
And yeah.
yeah,
But there's a lot there from that when he walked the planet that is still in need of healing.
yeah, yeah,
Definitely. Yeah. Mm, she's she's paving the way. She's helping to pave the way for us to heal the divine feminine and the divine masculine too.
yeah,
It's interesting that there's channelings of Yeshua a lot from Yeshua, but you don't hear a lot of channelings from Mary Magdalene.
right,
Texts like we have for Way of Mastery, A Course in Miracles,
right.
things like that. I wonder why that is.
I know. I was just thinking that too. thinking, maybe it's out there, maybe it just hasn't been created yet. There are, lots of channelings of Yeshua, but those are still few and far between, and they're very recent. Like the Course in Miracles was in the 70s, and Way of
Hmm.
Mastery is in the 80s, and so, um, yeah, maybe
Well, I
it's
do
just
believe that the channelings from Christ are recent because of the time. And I've said I've said this many times. What he taught 2,000 years ago was for now,
yeah,
and that's why why his channelings are coming back, or he as he walked the planet. And maybe it's um I don't know, but like I said, there's a lot of books coming out where women are writing about Mary Magdalene. I don't haven't noticed any channel material, but there probably
yeah,
is.
yeah. And maybe it's just the progression, and we'll have all kinds of stuff coming from
Yes,
here soon.
right.
That's how I feel. Like it's just not out yet. It just hasn't
Yes.
been.
My
Yeah.
friend Wendy Williams, she has some books out on, she's a hypnotherapist. She's been
Mhm.
on the channel a couple times, and she's writing a book about Mary Magdalene now through her hip. I believe it's her hypnosis states. I'm not sure, uh, or clients
Yeah.
bringing that
Very
through.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah, so I can't wait for her book to come out. So that's
Yeah.
kind of like channeling.
Yeah. For sure.
Hmm.
Yeah. I mean, I've channeled her a couple of times, but not not enough to write a book. Maybe I can open to that. I don't
Well,
know.
yeah, writing a channeled book is an ongoing process. It's just
Yes,
not one or
yes,
two
yes,
channels. It's
yes. No,
ongoing for sure. Yeah.
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 I would love to though. Oh my gosh. Like I just felt like I just had a glimpse of what that would be to like channel Mary Magdalene that often to, produce such a big work. Like, wow.
Well, I believe that we're channeling her all the time when we're in our Christ light, the divine
Yeah.
feminine. The When we're in our Christ light, we're channeling her. We're channeling all of Christ.
Yeah.
And that's not just the masculine, but also the feminine.
Yeah.
So we're programmed because we're still working through our programming.
Yes, totally.
Nobody here is perfect, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But we're still working through our programming. And so our programming is Jesus is the Christ, right?
Yes. Yes.
And
Yeah.
we're also feminine beings, Christina and I.
Yes.
So it's like we're in love with Christ. We're in love with Jesus. We're in love with Yeshua. You know, I want to sit in. I want to sit in that energy. Not that I don't want to sit in Mary Magdalene, but I see
Right, right,
myself
right.
as Mary Magdalene sitting with Yeshua.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
There we
And the
go.
programming too is, that we are separate beings, that we are separate from each other or separate from God. And so that's also programming that, we have to work through as well to really embody that energy, the Mary Magdalene energy,
Hmm.
for
And that's
sure.
what we're doing.
Yeah.
I just got it. I mean,
Yeah.
maybe again, we
Yeah.
are sitting when we sit with him.
Hmm. We're with, yeah, he's outside of us. Yeah.
Well, no, what I'm saying is that we are sitting with him as the divine feminine,
As the,
which we can
yes.
choose the
Yeah.
embodiment of Mary Magdalene, but we're
Yes.
still because he is the divine masculine, and we're as when we're healed, that is the draw, masculine,
Yes.
feminine. That
Yes.
is the wholeness.
Yeah.
And so he is the embodiment of the divine masculine. And so as we in this body are healing the divine feminine, we're drawn to him. That
Yeah.
personality, the Yeshua that we know
Yeah.
as the beloved,
Yeah. Yeah.
our beloved. Right?
I see it. I see it. Yeah.
I'm like,
I feel it. I see it. Yes.
now I get it.
Exactly. Yeah. Look at what we just figured out.
Right here, live on TV. TV.
Yes.
TV. I remember a psychic told me many, 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 many years ago when I started seeing psychics when I was waking up and going through all my stuff, that I was going to be on TV. I'm like,
Mhm.
yeah, okay, whatever. What, Oprah or something like, I'm like, TV, whatever. He was saying, he was probably seeing YouTube kind of thing. You
Yes.
could put YouTube up on TV.
We watch YouTube on our TV.
Oh,
Yeah.
gosh.
All the time. All the time. Yeah.
Well, there you go.
That's
Yeah.
funny. Yeah. When I was a kid, I would pretend that I was Oprah and I would interview my friends. Like,
That's funny.
I had no idea. The podcast didn't exist then, you know? I mean, we had talk shows and radio shows, but podcasts weren't a thing.
Right. Right. Now everyone's on TV.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Or phones, phones are more popular
That's a
than TV
screen.
now.
It's a
Yes. It's a
screen.
screen, right?
Totally. All right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So to close this amazing show out, um, there's so many divine feminine arc avatars, I should say. Mary Magdalene's avatar, right?
Mhm.
Like Kuan Yin, Mother Mary, that embody the
Yes.
feminine quality.
Compassion.
Yeah,
Yes.
totally.
Yes.
Venus, what's the Egyptian Isis? They're
Yes.
all, I believe that they're all embody the same feminine,
Yeah.
divine feminine that Mary Magdalene did,
Mhm.
and Mother Mary.
Yes.
Interesting that they're named the same. Maybe that was a
Queen
common.
Mary.
I think it was
Yeah.
a common name back
I
then.
think it was. Yeah.
Yeah, but and there's another Mary, I believe, that hangs out. The three of them, another Mary. So
A trinity of Marys,
a
too.
trinity of Marys that show up at Usati all the time when they're doing
Yeah.
their circle there.
Yes.
Um, and so that's who we embody. That's who and what we embody in the um, divine feminine. It doesn't matter if we're in a masculine body or a feminine, I mean, a male body or a female body, I should say.
Right.
That's available to us
Yes.
to help us heal.
Yes.
And I just got goosebumps because that's what it's all about. Yeah.
So, yes, many, many people are coming out with things around Mary Magdalene, including Stephanie from one of the practitioners from the Kumar Academy, who will be holding an event tomorrow at 4 p.m. Pacific time. I'll be there. Sharon, you're going to be there, right?
Mhm.
So,
Yes.
yes.
Yeah, come
So
and ask
feel
your
free to join
questions.
us. Yes.
Please come and join us and learn more about Mary Magdalene and Stephanie's energy. She's an animal healer, communicator, and a medium, psychic medium. She's got so many gifts. So she knows a lot about Mary Magdalene, and I really
Yes,
can't wait. We should have had her on.
I know. I was thinking that right after we started.
Oh, after the fact, light bulb after the fact.
I
Mhm.
know. And thank you, Leah, for joining us. Thank you,
Thanks,
everyone
Leah.
else, for joining us. And we'll see you next week.
Yes. Bye bye.
Have a good weekend.